So on TikTok, there are some people that attack me, and it's got me thinking about child abuse. There's also a guy that just talks about abuse and his trauma, and he gets thousands of views and hundreds of likes. So I might get indulgent and do that too, because I've been kicked around. Um, Not literally, though. And that's the thing about this guy with the trauma is that most of it is stuff that you would consider harmless. I don't think what happened to my daughter by her mother while we lived in, well, I forget the community, but when I called the protective services about child abuse, I think that was child abuse because she was screaming, and she would not stop screaming even though our baby was standing up in her crib and pointing and pointing and pointing at nothing. Obviously, that's child abuse, but there's a range of child abuse. And at the very extreme of child abuse is not pedophilia. Even pedophiliac rape is not the extreme. It would be murder that would be the extreme of child abuse. Now, when it comes to pedophiliac rape, that's a close second. You know, that's a terrible thing to do. What the hell are you doing to a little baby? But I guess it happens. But on lower levels of pedophilia, they creep us out. So we get like much more emotional and angry about them and irrational about them, which costs lives. And it costs trauma to get irrational. Accusing someone of being a child murderer or anything at that level, you know, even a couple of rungs down of serious crimes, should never be made without a good deal of evidence. In fact, even broaching the subject creates an atmosphere in which you will get to have less information at a time when you need more. So be thoughtful, but nobody is. So I think that it is monitoring and observation which will end child abuse. I think every child should be blogged 24/7 and periodically checked in by crowd surfing convicts that are doing their time as community service. I think that convicts can oversee a family and indicate when they think the child is being left out of consideration to an abusive level. And that can mean yelling and screaming for hours, days in my case, but it could be physical attacks and stuff like that. And they might get it wrong. And so it's so important to not have your Department of Childhood Protection loathed by the populace. You know, like I had to call them, and I was talking to people about this, and they were like, "You called them?" Like it was a crime to call the department that's supposed to help. Why? Because that department has a crime mindset. It's a forensic frenzy of you lose custody, you have a protection order, you are investigated, and it's mental. It's terribly done. Love and intelligence and careful monitoring solves this thing. And that's so much profound compounding trauma that you solve when you solve child abuse. Because child abuse obviously makes adult abusers. Now, it's not so simple, perhaps, but it's there. Anyway, on TikTok, I get regular people being super suspicious of me, and they level accusations. And an accusation like that tells the person that you are attacking them in exactly the way that you are going to attack them, which is a terrible anti-abuse policy. If I found an abuser online, I would be so quiet and secretive